Good evening and happy Thursday. What day of the week is it now? It must be Thursday. How is everyone doing? Welcome to stream number 10 for me. Tonight I think we have lined up the Old Firm derby against Celtic first up. Hopefully we'll fit in a few Champions League games and a bit of league action with the Rangers. Last stream we left off, I think we had fairly decent form. We managed to get into the Champions League proper, into the group stage, which makes my board happy. And look at our fixtures, we've got a very, very outside chance of potentially making the knockout stages, but we're not putting too much stock in that. We're just looking to do ourselves proud in the group stage and continue our push up the league. We are currently sitting second to Celtic, so a win tonight would push us above, and hopefully we can start to make that top spot our own. So without any further ado, we'll get into the save. I hope everyone's doing well on this Thursday night. It is quite a warm one for me tonight. Here in shorts today because it's been fairly warm. Well, they've had a couple of rainstorms over the last couple of days. Just adjusting my neck pillow there. Okay. So I think, yeah, we left off right before the fixture last time on Tuesday's stream. So we've picked our first 11. I'm sure I've got reasons behind that. Colombo, because I just desperately need him to play. Okay. Ross Munro is our relatively new backup goalkeeper. Good enough that I wouldn't be too upset with him having to play the odd league game. And we are just a wee bit short otherwise. Let's give... Put Mickelson on the bench as well. So yeah, I may be a little bit light on attacking options. I felt that during the transfer window we're absolutely fine, but now we're into the season, I feel like I could do with one or two more, but we're just going to go with what we've got. So we're going for pretty much the strongest 11 to start with tonight against Celtic. Kovacevic, who has been excellent for us so far, is just returning from injury and may not make the whole game, but I feel like I need him out there from the very beginning. Colombo has an injury, is back to full training tomorrow, but looks fit enough that he'll be able to play through. I mean, his injury was a thigh strain that kept him out for a day or two, so I feel like we should be able to get a full game out of him. We'll wait and see if that's true. Let's get into the game. So how has your day been? I've had an absolutely cracking day myself. My beloved Gillingham have managed to sign Connor Masterson, and Connor Masterson is well, he's a player that's been on Gillingham twice in the last two seasons on loan. So he joined us in January for the 21-22 season, and in January again for 22-23. And he was fantastic in both loan spells, but this one in particular, I feel like he really came into his own. There's an incredibly assured presence at the back alongside Maxima, and was out of contract, or is out of contract with QPR at the end of next month. Thankfully, he has decided to sign with us permanently, something that is in no small part down to the fact we have Brad Gallanson, our new American owner, who has just a little bit of money to spend, which is something that, as a Gillingham fan, we've not seen for a long, long time. So we have signed, or we are going to sign, Connor Masterson on the 1st of July on a free from QPR, and that makes me a very, very happy man. Even had the pleasure of meeting him a couple of weeks ago at the end of season awards dinner, and he was, just the nicest guy. So, yeah, very, very happy Gillingham fan here tonight. And are we giving away a penalty 1 minute into the Old Firm derby? I think we are. Well, ref is soft as. He's given that as a penalty. I'm not entirely sure how anyone could think that's a penalty, but here we go. Kalimwendo, who's been a pain in my bum ever since I arrived in Scotland, fails to score. It's a cracking save from Smicer. Well, is that a good omen for the rest of this game? Colombo now trying to break down the right, but he's tackled on the touchline. That feels like that could be a very, very big moment. Rangers, we are slightly behind Celtic when it comes to the season preview. We're expected to reach second. So it suggests that Celtic have a slightly better squad, but we do have home advantage. I'd like to think we can take full advantage of that tonight. Samoa's now with the corner in. It's headed away up for Kovacevic. Sarmiento puts it to the back for Samwars, who swings the leg at it. It takes a deflection and loops up for the goalkeeper quite comfortably. There's a lot of European football going on tonight. Some semi-finals in the Europa League and in the Conference League, including one English club. We've got West Ham in the semi-final of the Conference League against, I think, AZ Alkmaar, isn't it? It'll be interesting to see how they get on. I think I heard David Moyes saying earlier that he'd be very proud to get them into European final. So rather expect them to put a strong team out. And Diomande has scored, but may have been offside. The referee's got his finger in his ear, and he's made the right call. It was absolutely a fair goal. Yates into Colombo. Colombo slides it through for Diomande, who just smashes it into the top corner. No risks taken there. Just hit it as hard as you possibly can. It seems to be his choice. And a good one it was. And we are 1-0 up against Celtic in this very, very big game for us. And Samoa steals the ball off them there. Diomande now out to Sarmiento, who plays it through for Colombo. He's clear and free, and keeper makes a decent save in the end. We're hitting Celtic well on the break here. It's not quite the dominant performance that we're used to, but we are doing a job so far. We have got Andy Robertson back in Scotland at the age of 35. He's played quite well in a couple of games that he's played for me so far. I couldn't think of a bigger name that I'd want out there in such a huge game, such a huge contest in Scotland. And we mop the move up quite well there and play a little bit of football between us. Lovely touch there. Kovacevic now through for Colombo, and he is out ahead. Plays it back for Diomande, who just hits it straight at the defender. That promised so much more. Well, we are dominating possession. We're ahead on XG as well, despite Celtic having a penalty, which I think does show that we've played good football up until this point, and we look calm and composed in defence there. Colombo can't quite get on to the end of that long ball from Smicer. And Celtic now pushing down our right flank. We need to do better from those headers. We really should be able to clear those ourselves. But comes to no harm in the end. Samwars now with another corner. Can we find a big man at the back? That's all the way out to Piatkowski, but it's headed away. Kovacevic with a chance to put it back in, but he puts it central. Samwars hits it at goal, and I think it takes a deflection before rattling off the post and getting cleared away. Well, we've started very brightly in this match so far. We've definitely adapted better to the we've adapted to the weather better than Celtic. That was hard to say words. And we're getting forward once more, and Colombo this time does smash it into the roof of the net, and we're going to go in at half-time with 2 goals to our name. Celtic, however, with a chance to spoil the party a little bit, but we headed away fairly clearly. Although Celtic still have it on the edge of our box, and they play it across to Doak, who is far too clear, and Smicer just lets the ball go through him there. It almost looked like he slipped as he went down for the ball. We've left a man wide open out on the wing inside the box, which is a terrible place. Bawadu, yeah, Smicer should do an awful lot better there. So Celtic, probably an undeserved goal if you ask me, but they do pull one back and it's 2-1. So we'll go into the second half with the same team that started the first. Sarmiento, however, does look exhausted, and Kovacevic hasn't played particularly well. We knew at the start of the game that he'd probably not make it through the full 90 minutes. It was a good header, and Colombo scored a second. His second, our third. It looked like Piatkowski was going to score from the corner. It was a great corner in at the near post. Keeper makes a good save, but Celtic don't really clear their lines. And it's back to Samwas. And this is something we've seen a couple of times so far in this game. Both for Celtic and Rangers, the corner taker is being left wide open once the initial corner is cleared. So 3-1 up in this Old Firm derby, and I'm quite surprised by how easy we've made this look so far. And we've just stolen the ball off there, and Colombo has the hat-trick. Well, considering for a brief moment I did wonder whether he'd be fit enough to really play the game. Well, he's shown me, hasn't he? A hat-trick despite getting injured just a couple of days ago. And I'm so glad we kept hold of him in the summer. And Smicer there, sweeping up the ball nicely. Kovacevic now through for Sarmiento, and Sarmiento's clear. Colombo with a fourth. He has got his fourth of the night and our fifth on the day. The referee is possibly going to be a party pooper here, but that looked absolutely fine from where I was standing, and it is indeed given. Kovacevic just puts it over top for Sarmiento, who tries to beat the keeper, but Colombo is first on to the rebound, and that is 5-1 to Rangers. This is going quite well. We've made a couple of subs now. Isaacson and Cozy Dubry on for Kovacevic and Sarmiento, who were looking quite tired. And we have 25 minutes now to see out with a 4-goal lead over Celtic at home. Even in my wildest dreams, I didn't expect a scoreline anything close to this. Colombo now is through again, and he has a 5th goal. Lorenzo Colombo is writing his name into Rangers history here. His 5th goal against Celtic. It's now 6-1, and I don't think I could take this man off the pitch if I wanted to. Thigh injury or tight thigh or not, he is staying on until the very end, I think. We will, however, take off Madsbek Sorensen, who is looking just a little bit tired there. We'll save the last couple of subs towards the end of the game. In normal circumstances, I think I'd be looking to just waste time and see the game out, but we're all over Celtic. They just cannot cope with us, and we are definitely showing our pedigree as title challengers with a result like this. A big lofted ball forward from Robertson there, but we do manage to recover the ball in the Celtic half. That's a ball through for Cozier Dubry, who tries to chip one and does from the edge of the box. I think the goalkeeper's had a mare there. It looked like it fell through his hands, slipped through his hands. Colombo for Yates. Yates who plays it through for Cozier Dubry, who just kind of chips it from the edge there, and he does just palm it into the goal. The weak hand, meaning that we are now 7-1 up. This is an incredible start to the night. Okay, we will make 2 more subs. We're gonna get, we will bring Colombo off. I don't want to risk him getting actually injured, and I think he deserves that round of applause, that standing ovation from the Ibrox crowd. 5 goals against Celtic. It's not something I expect we will see again anytime soon. What an incredible piece of work from that man. And we'll bring Robertson off because he is quite old. Oh, did Celtic score? Oh. Well, look, we're so hungry for goals, we'll even score in our own goal there. It looked like Samwaz with an own goal. He puts a block in on the cross there, and yeah, tries to put a second block in, but that one just loops over the goalkeeper. In ordinary circumstances, I'd probably be upset at conceding 2 to Celtic, but as it stands, we've scored 7, which is far, far better. And we've absolutely demolished it. Glasgow tonight is blue. And that's an incredible result. Absolutely incredible result for us. And as you can see, that puts us comfortably at the top of the league. It puts a big dent into Celtic's goal difference as well. What a cracking way to start our stream tonight. So for those of you who are new, I'm Adwin84 and we're playing Football Manager 23. We started as an unemployed manager with no coaching badges, where we eventually took up a post in Sweden. We spent 4 or 5 seasons in Sweden, getting Östersund IF all the way to the Allsvenskan and into Europe before we switched Sweden for Scotland. Dundee United taking us on. We rewarded them for employing us by winning them the trophy in our first season and qualifying them for Europe. My reward for that was then for Rangers to come in and offer me an awful lot more money, to spend an awful lot more money, and a much, much bigger wage budget. It was something like 8 or 9 times what Dundee United were able to offer. And the rest, as they say, is history. And here we are, just putting Celtic to the sword. Incredible. 7-2. We have had a very good season. In fact, the last game of the last stream was the only one we didn't win, which is quite hard to believe, but we put things right against Celtic there, 7-2, and now we have a much, much tougher challenge in Atletico Madrid. Now we are going to rest that entire first 11 because I want as many of them to be able to play against Atletico as we possibly can get into the side. So we need to rest them up to give them a chance to be fit. So let's have a look, shall we, at how some of these scores are going. So just a 1 goal in all of those European games so far. Fiorentina 1-0 up against Basel. Nothing in the West Ham game as yet. So I don't know about anybody else, whether any of you are fans of a lower league club in England, but I'm already starting to feel withdrawal symptoms from football. Monday was our last match of the League Two season, away to Salford. I did go to that because I do enjoy an away game, and last game of the season's always a fun one to go to, and got to take in the pleasures of Manchester while we were there as well. Two men in their late 30s, looking very old compared to just about everyone else we encountered in bars in Manchester. But that's the spice of life, isn't it? Variety. But now, that's it. That's football done until I think the 5th of August is first game back. Some relatively good news as well for EFL football clubs with the new deal from Sky Sports. There's an increase on TV revenue, and there'll be more League One and League Two games on TV. I say it's relatively good news. I think it's good news for the clubs, maybe not so much for some of the fans, simply because that means we're pretty much guaranteed to have a couple of our games moved throughout the season. And I like my 3 o'clock kickoffs on a Saturday. It's regular, it's always at the same time, I know what's going to happen. If I have to go to Saturday noon or Friday evening or even Sunday games, I might be a little bit less inclined. Well, I won't, I'll still go, but won't enjoy it quite as much as my Saturday afternoons. I enjoy my routine. Okay, I think we're able to pick our strongest squad here. And Robertson obviously is going into that. Yeah, I think we'll go with Raskin, Yates. So I'm going to go with Shackleton. Yates hasn't set the world alight so far this season, and Diomande I think absolutely deserves another start after his cracking performance in the Celtic game. Kovacevic now looks completely fit, and Sarmiento does as well. Colombo also looks ready for action. So it is the strongest squad available to us going out there today. I'm going to have 2 goalkeepers on the bench just because we need to make up numbers. We'll sit Yilmaz on the bench even though he looks a little bit injured. And then I think that's it. That's all I've got. Dean Martin now too old to go into the squad. He is. Okay. Right, strongest squad available for Atletico. Let's go and do this. I don't know how Premier League fans do it. My friend is an Arsenal season ticket holder, and he is having to move. He goes to games at all times of the weekend. He knows when my games are. Saturday 3 o'clock. Him could be on a Friday night, could be on a Saturday, could be on a Sunday, could be Monday nights. It's just all over the place, and that must be incredibly hard to schedule and fit a life around. Obviously, if you're a football fan, football is the biggest thing, and you're a season ticket holder. You've made that commitment, but it must be incredibly difficult at times not knowing what else you can plan and when you can plan it, because Sky could move the game just a few weeks before it's scheduled. So yeah, not looking forward to that, but thankfully it is. I think it's going to be 5 games every week from League One and League Two, so shouldn't be too many Gillingham games that I have to worry about being moved. Although I suspect if, as we as Gillingham fans all hope, we are towards the top end of the league, we might be more of an attractive prospect. And we've taken a bit of an unexpected lead here, away to Atletico Madrid. Colombo continuing his fine form. 6 goals in 2 games so far. And it comes from a good bit of pressing in midfield and a simple through ball for Colombo, who finishes it very tidily. I suspect we're not going to enjoy the game quite as much as we enjoyed the first 2 minutes there, but it is a lovely start for us. And Atletico have hit straight back at us. The referee, I think, is going to look at this one. It looked offside to me, but I'm a terrible linesman. But in this case, apparently, I've got it spot on. João Felix, obviously offside. Well, I say obviously. It's enough that it counts. And for now, we retain our 1-goal lead. And look at that, just us and Liverpool at the top of the Champions League group stage there. Right where we belong. And it's all changed now. Dortmund and Man United up there. I have recently started uploading my streams to YouTube as well. You can find me over on YouTube at Adwin1984. Someone has already got possession of the Adwin84 tag, so I am Adwin1984. In fact, just today, just this morning, I think it was, uploaded my first edited stream highlights. I've taken a 3-hour stream and turned it into a 26-minute video, which is probably still too long. But I'm doing all of the editing myself, and if I'm honest with you, the quality of the first stream was pretty poor. The sound quality was poor. We had lag issues all through, unfortunately, the first couple of games. But I'm hoping to be able to edit more of those videos and bring you shorter highlights. So if you are new to the stream, I'm hoping to have some easy catch-up for you over the coming weeks. It did take me about 3 hours to edit down a 3-hour stream, despite trying to skip forward as much as possible. So it probably won't happen instantly, but over the next few weeks I should be able to catch up so that we have one highlight video per stream, and that's a very good save from Smyser. We're just about holding our own here, just about keeping in touch with Atletico. And they're camped outside our box at the moment, but we are defending resolutely. 1-0 is probably as much as I could hope for. I see Kovacevic is injured. I can't risk him. If he's hampered by the injury, he's not playing well. Let's get Isaacson on. He is a very good player and can do a job for me over on that right-hand side. Okay, and we continue. Despite being definitely the weaker of the two sides, we do look fairly composed on the ball and still quite happy to continue to play our pressing game, which is good. And that's going to be a red card, isn't it? Isaacson on for a couple of minutes of the game, and he has got himself sent off. That's incredible. And Diamande looks injured as well. So we are going to bring on Chaibi. We are going to let's put Chaibi out on that right-hand side, shall we? Can you please move over there? Is it because Gustafsson's... Oh, this is silly. Come on. Let me put him there. There we go. And we'll do a bit of that. We may move these two back at some point if they are able to play that position. And we are going to go very defensive. We are going to try and waste time as much as possible, but I fully expect this to come back to bite us. Well, we started very well, but unfortunately, what the ref giveth, he taketh away. He did disallow a goal for offside for Atletico Madrid earlier in the game, but has now chosen to send off one of our players. And incredibly, we've just scored a second goal. We've gone down to 10 men and we have scored a second goal. A short throw here. Sarmiento just loops it into the box and Colombo is first to it. Gets ahead of the defender and quite incredibly we are 2-0 up despite being down to 10 men, and we nearly found a way to get a third there. Well, we are having a blessed start to the night so far. Isaacson's red card aside, we have taken the chances that come our way, and we've really, I think, done ourselves proud so far. Scots in Spain often suffer, but not tonight. As we break up the attack there from Atletico and then push the ball forward quickly to Colombo, who unfortunately can't hold on to it, but is willing to throw himself about a bit. That's a good ball. Is that Tammy Abraham now playing for Atletico Madrid? It is. Well, let's hope we can continue to ruin his night. Abraham has stolen the ball there from us. And Atletico they've got a very strong squad there, haven't they? João Felix now, and it's 2-1. We'll need to make a couple of changes to freshen things up. Colombo is looking tired. Don't really want to bring on Ross McIntosh. He's only in the squad to make up the numbers. I think I'm going to leave him on for now. I've only got, this is my last stoppage. Okay, I'm going to get Robertson off for Yilmaz, who I think is now fit. I am going to bring off Piatkowski because he looks like he's probably going to get himself sent off if I don't do that. And Colombo, I can't risk him just for this one game. And we're going to have young Ross McIntosh come on and hopefully just run around and make the defenders for Atletico look a little bit upset. I don't really expect a great deal from him. All we want to do is see out the next few minutes. If we can hold on to a 2-1 win, it will be an utterly incredible result for us. That goes easily wide. Just watch that one go wide, and it looks like we have managed to hold on to this, although we've got a last minute highlight here, and that's headed way over the bar. Let's take as long as you can over this one, lads. Well, that's two exceptional wins in 2 games. 7-2 win at home to Celtic, and then even more incredibly, a 2-1 win away to Atletico Madrid with 10 men. And with a win like that, you just have to wonder, are we going to potentially sneak in to the knockout stages? I've got two matches in particular that I think we should be targeting for wins here. We have FC Copenhagen at home. We are also facing Galatasaray at home. Both matches that I'd like to think we can win, given that they're home matches. The rest are going to be incredibly difficult. We have Liverpool at home, we have Wolfsburg away, Gladbach away, we've got Man United away at home, and Paris Saint-Germain away. So some huge matches there. Even the 2 home games against Liverpool and Man United, they're well beyond us as far as I'm concerned. The away games against Wolfsburg and Gladbach, maybe we can steal a point from those, but away to PSG, absolutely no chance at all. But then I also said that about this Atletico Madrid game, we've just managed to secure a 2-1 win. So the unbeaten start to the season continues, and let's see how we get on. Chiefs Kingdom, hi, welcome. How are you doing? We are having A really quite wonderful start to our night. We've just beaten Celtic 7-2 and Atletico Madrid 2-1 away. I mean, you just don't get much more blessed than that, do you? I'm very good, thank you. Having a lovely day. I'm a Gillingham fan, and we have just announced the signing of Connor Masterson. He's a player who's been on loan with us for the last couple of seasons, and he's incredible. If that's not giving it away, Gillingham FC is my team. I'm a season ticket holder down there with my brother, my wife, and our 3 kids. So, a bit of a family affair for us. What about you? Who do you support? Ashwin, how you doing, man? Now, I confess I've got your stream open, but I'm not actually watching. How are you enjoying a bit of Zelda? From what I've watched of your stream so far, it looks so good. I quite enjoyed Breath of the Wild. I don't actually own a Switch; it's my wife's, but I watched her play it, and then she decided it was too hard and let me play a bit of it, and it was quite good. I was up in your neck of the woods in Manchester on Monday. Our last game of the season was away to Salford, and I was up there for the away match because it's always fun to do the last game of the season. Away match is always fun, so put the two together, and why on earth not? But yeah, Manchester United season ticket holder. So I was talking a bit about this earlier. The Sky Sports are giving EFL a bit more money, and in return they're going to be showing more League One and League Two games live on Sky Sports, and that means some games are going to be moved. We're going to have, rather than your standard 3 o'clock Saturday kickoffs, there'll be some lunchtime, evenings, etc. How do you deal with having such a weird and wonderful schedule where you could be playing almost any night of the week at any time? Does it really mess with your schedule? I know that when you've got a season ticket, you're making a commitment. You're going to go to as many games as possible, but it must just be a pain. Oh, good. Okay, he's happy now. And that's the big thing, because it stops being about the fans then. And as a season ticket holder, you probably feel the same. You're the one who, funds your club. I mean, I think at your level, season ticket sales and match day sales probably aren't quite as big a lifeline for the club as they are down in League Two. But how can they justify effectively screwing over season ticket holders by having these stupid times for matches? And you guys had one, I think, was it like a Sunday at 8 o'clock against Everton or something like that? I mean, who on earth wants to go and watch a football match at 8 o'clock on a Sunday? It's fine when you're sat at home watching it on TV, but it's just utterly stupid some of the times I've seen. It was Man United Everton, wasn't it? I mean, that's just. I mean, I don't even have the words for it. It leaves me speechless that what they'll do to one of the loyal ones. You're there every week in, week out, supporting them no matter who they're playing. And your reward is to have to go to games at stupid times that are determined by someone at Sky Sports, as opposed to a proper football fan. Because Saturday at 3 o'clock is when football is played. And don't get me wrong, I quite like the novelty of a game, a different time game. Monday's game was 12:30 kick-off, but that was because it was the last day of the season. But I wouldn't want that every week. Yeah, exactly. If you've got to travel half the way across the country and you've got taken your away ticket, yeah, I mean, it was quite fortunate in some way that it's a team from Liverpool and a team from Manchester, because it's not that bad a drive from one to the other, or coach journey, or however you're going to do it. But if you were coming, back down to Kent, for example, you've got no chance, absolutely no chance. You're not going to work the next day. You're just not going to be able to make it, are you? Unfortunately, because I think because they still see the grounds so well sold out, especially at Premier League level, no one's going to do anything about it, unless of course it's the Etihad, but that's always empty. Yeah, exactly. Work at 6 o'clock in the morning and you're rolling in at what, 11, 12? And as a Man United fan, you and I have something in common. That's our hatred of Man City. I'm sure. For me, it's because I'm still bitter about Wembley 1999, but yours is probably a bit more of a local thing. I think that probably goes for most football fans in some way, doesn't it? It's the new money clubs that, in some ways, just it rubs me up the wrong way. And I get it, my own club's just been taken over by someone who's got a little bit of money for League Two. We're not talking millions and millions, but enough to keep us running and going as a concern. But it's can't go and buy the league sort of money that just winds you up, doesn't it? Yeah. And the good news is that Man City, I think, are absolutely incapable of winning the Champions League. So that's something you'll always have over them. They're making it look good this year, but they still won't do it. Right, got Ross County, so can rotate this squad a bit actually. Where's my new boy? There you go. Dane Murray can play there. I'll probably need to give Chabi a run out. The Sarmiento looks exhausted in the last few games, so he can have a rest as well. I think I'd be quite happy to see them win none of it. It's unlikely, obviously. I'd be quite happy to see them lose the league to Arsenal. Partly because I just think it would be funny to see Man City throw that away, but also just because I've got that little soft spot for Arsenal as a result of my best friend being an Arsenal season ticket holder. I know that would be the most incredible season, wouldn't it? For them to bottle a league, lose the FA Cup final to you guys, and I mean, I suppose that's what you've still got a part to play in it. You can ruin their treble for them, and that would be a sweet feeling, wouldn't it, at Wembley? And you guys have had a bit of something of a revival this season. It's tailed off a little bit towards the end of the season, but I think it's looking better than it has done for a while there, at least from an outsider's point of view. And Ross McIntosh. I really do need to get something else up front. Okay, let's go and see what we can do against Ross County. Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to. If you're older than sort of 20, then you'll be fully aware of the history in the early 2000s. I mean, what a battle that was between Man United and Arsenal during that time. That was something else, if you ask me. Yeah, I suppose the flip side of that is that, yeah, me saying that it's in your hands, you can take it off them. It would be quite horrible to go there and watch them win the trophy, wouldn't it? Who knows? They say, don't they, in cup matches, form goes out the window. It's all about who's better on the day. Yeah, North London's not the same as the actual North, is it? I'm going to go attacking because I feel like we deserve to put on a performance for the fans. They've had some good football to watch so far. So what part of Manchester are you from? I'm not going to pretend I know it particularly well. I've been there twice. Once in the somewhere in the city centre for work, and once on Monday for the Salford game. Well, that's a surprise. We've gone 1-0 down. I suppose we've won. Had two good wins. We've absolutely got to lose one. Moston, no. Don't think I encountered it on a map or anything anywhere, so unfortunately I can't say I do know it. Are you fairly close to Old Trafford? Right, let's thrash some arms because that's the way I do business at half time. Oh, how have we missed that? We'll encourage them, but it's going to get a bit more demanding later. And Colombo saving our blushes there, although that pervert ref, finger in his ear. Come on, be nice. Oh, okay. So have you ever been over to see an FC United game? No, it's born out of protest, wasn't it? But and that's how these things start. You just start to develop an affinity for a club, don't you? And we've conceded a second to Ross County. This is not good at all. Ashwin, I'm getting FM'd here. I beat Atletico Madrid away, and now I'm losing at home to Ross County, bottom of the league, and they're beating me at home. Chiefs, that is the best thing about clubs at the lower end of the league scale. There is a community feel about things. I was at the end of season awards dinner for Gillingham just a couple of weeks ago, and had two players sat on my table. So me and my wife there. There was a family of four with a couple of youngsters. I had one of the players playing Uno with the young kids, and the other one, yeah, chatting away with me and my wife. It was genuinely wonderful, and like all of the players were more than happy to have pictures with you, chat to you, give you some inside knowledge about their contract negotiations and so on. But it's just, yeah, it's that's what I love about football. That's what I love about football, and that's what I love about Gillingham, because it's a community. These people genuinely care about the club. And you meet so many fans who have other connections to the club, whether it's, they've worked there, or they've played football there, or whatever. It's a focal point for the community. And that's what I love about lower league football. Is in every way, it's just fantastic. Obviously, the money situation usually isn't quite so good. Let's put on Cozier Dewberry. We do need to change things up a little bit. Yeah, it is. It is always very friendly. And wherever we've sat in the grounds at Priestfield, people next to you just chat to you. I couldn't imagine turning up at, say, the Emirates and making friends and making a connection with someone like that. And Ashwin, you're making me want to go and get a Switch. I'll have to steal my wife's Switch and get the Zelda game. We're going to demand some more. And I think we might throw another man up front if we can find one who can play as a striker. Is it true, by the way, Chiefs, that you have £3.50 pints at Old Trafford? Because that's another thing that I think, football fans, they just get ripped off, don't they? Some places, I think, where did we go last? It was November, we went away to Brentford, and I think it was something like, is it £6 a pint? And it's not the highest I've paid, but it's still far too much. Although actually these days I pay that for at a pub round here, because I live in South East London. I don't live in Kent, so I still pay London prices for a lot of things. Right, we need to make some changes. This is not going the way we expected. I'm going to keep Colombo on, but we do need to get some more firepower up front. Cozier Dewberry, you can play. Give you a false 9 roll, see how that works. We'll get Chavy out on the right there. Raskin, we can move forward. And let's get you off. Let's get Shackleton on. A bit of fiddling around there. And let's get Robertson on. Yeah, that's great. I mean, that for me, that's quite impressive when you've got a big club that's still able to, well, to understand they shouldn't fleece their fans. You don't see that often. And for me, again, because I've got the 3 o'clock Saturday kickoffs, so I've got a whole routine. Because it's me, it's my whole family who go down to the game. We go and sit in the in the club bar. We'll spend 3 hours in there. We'll have a few pints and we'll a few cokes for the kids. They still frown on me trying to put beer in them, and then we'll sort of grab a burger at the ground. So when that starts to build up, especially when it's a family of you, and even for us, it's still £5 a pint, which is, I suppose, par these days, but it still feels quite expensive. Yeah. Depending on the event, it can be quite pricey. I like so I'm going to the Rugby League Challenge Cup final in August. So I've got a group of friends. We go to the Challenge Cup final pretty much every year. It's always a great laugh, and we just pick usually the underdog to go and support. And we're all Londoners. We're all from London/Kent, and we just go along, and we're normally supporting a northern team, obviously, because you guys know how to do rugby league, whereas us southern softies haven't got a clue. We like the one where all the fat men run around. But until I started going with those guys, I didn't really get rugby league. But it's a very good game, isn't it? Warrington Wolves. What a great chant they have. Oh, worry, worry. Oh, worry, worry. Worry, 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 Warrington. I think they were the ones we were supporting last time I went to Wembley. And as ever, it's anyone but Leeds if Leeds are there. The Saints have got a Cockney in their team. Well, that's it then. Job done. I'm a Saints fan. Do you know what? If I'm honest with you, I don't follow most of the season. For me, it's just turn up on the day and see who everyone considers to be the underdog. So it was Catalan a few years ago. Warrington, I think, was the last time a couple of years ago that I went to. But yeah, if Saints have got a Cockney, then well, that's it. So this job done. Decision made. Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook. Okay. I'll definitely be looking him up after the stream. That's it. Yeah, you've tied me in. The question now is if he moves to another team, do I follow him or do I stick with Saints? I suppose we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Do players move around club in rugby league anywhere near as much as they do in football? I suppose because there's less money in it, probably not quite as much. Okay, so yeah, no chance for him moving on. Well, that's it. St Helens for me. I used to be quite a big rugby union fan when Wasps were still in London and still a going concern. But as soon as they moved to Coventry, that was it for me. You know, my club's gone. And I've got friends who said, "Oh, come and support Harlequins," but yeah, it's just not the same. Let's see, who have we got here? Oh, we're going to have Celtic if we get through against Hearts. That's good to know. Okay, so disappointing result against Ross County out of the way, and we have given up the top spot again. But let's see if we can redeem ourselves a bit against Inverness here. I think my view on the rugby league versus rugby union divide has changed a bit actually as I've got older. In my younger days, I very much would have been rugby union. I liked a ruck. I liked a good, proper competitive scrum, and yeah, it's a real sort of war of attrition out on the union fields. But as I've got older, I enjoy the pace of rugby league so much more. It's there's obviously still tactical elements to the play, but it's so much more in the moment. You've got to make quick decisions, and the game just moves on so much faster. Whereas rugby union, you can grind the opposition down into the dirt, and well, that can be entertaining if it's your team doing the winning. When it's the opposition doing the winning, it's awful. It's like watching League Two football sometimes, where a team goes 1-0 up away and then wastes time every way possible. Okay, we need a bit of a change from the last game, so we'll have Shackleton start at wing back, and We'll go back to Piatkowski and Sorensen in the middle. We'll give Robertson another game. It is, yeah, it's because it's so fast, it is entertaining. Okay, Raskin. You probably need a rest, don't you? With Galatasaray coming up, we do have to think about that. Let's give Thierry Small a game then. Let's save old man Robertson for Europe. Still can go with those two at the back because the experimental pairing absolutely stuffed us against Ross County. We will play Ryan Yates in that role. Go Chibi and Diamande in the middle. We'll give Isaacson a chance to redeem himself after his stupidity against Atletico. And I've only got one striker, so that's who's going up front. And hello, you're coming back to fitness, are you? Let's get you somewhere on the bench then. So is there who's the closest team to you in Manchester? Is there kind of the pressure on you, same way there is for football, to support the team closest to you, or are you a little bit more free to pick someone else? Salford Red Devils. Oh, of course, yeah. I do know that name as well. Did St Helens used to be a real force in the game, like, yeah, properly dominant, or did I just dream that at some point? Okay, so let's see, Rangers. Can we make up for a pretty bloody poor performance against Ross County? Oh, wow. So, goalkeepers were meant to have been fixed. That's one of the worst goalkeeping errors I've ever seen. For whatever reason, it sort of loops over his head because he's gone wandering, and then he turns around and just palms it to Colombo. I shouldn't complain, but the match engine does get you sometimes. Yeah, see, I did think. See, I do know just a smidge about rugby league, and yes, St Helens were always a team that I thought were the team. Most leagues since the Super League started. Oh well, there you go. I can be. I can claim it's because there's a Cockney player at St Helens, but I'm just going to be a glory hunter, which is what, as a Man United fan, I'm sure everyone accuses you of being. So now we can be glory hunters together and have a hatred of Man City together, brothers in arms. Have won 4 in a row. Wow. I say that might just be boring then to support them. I say that I've been a Gillingham FC fan all my life. We rarely win anything. Why do I get the feeling there's probably more Manchester United supporters living near me than there are near you? See, I don't think I've seen St Helens in a final in Wembley yet. I've done 3 or 4 now. Actually, no, I think I might have seen a St Helens Leeds. I might be making it up. I might have seen St Helens Leeds. That may have been the year actually when we just saw this wall of rain coming across the stadium. And you could see it physical. It was like a physical wall. It was fairly dry, and then just sheet rain coming over to you. And by the time it hit you, it was already too late. You were soaked to the bone, and it made me laugh. You know, we just sat there, me and my friends from London, watching it come over, got soaked, whereas the Leeds fans all ran up the stairs into the concourse. Okay, so I suppose it must be true that there are at least some Manchester United fans in Manchester. I don't think anyone believes it's only City fans, because I don't think we believe there are any City fans. Not real ones. It's like Chelsea fans. Yeah, it could have been 2019. It gets a bit fuzzy for me because it's also a day that involves drinking quite a lot of beer, usually from about 10 a.m. Okay. Well, this game got a lot tighter. I was going to say we are walking this, but we've just given away a goal, and now I'm suddenly nervous. Let's make a couple of changes. Isaacson, let's give Kovacevic a little bit of a run out just to get some minutes into his legs. Thierry Small can come off for Robertson. And Choby's actually done quite well in that role. I'm going to get Yates off for Raskin. I somehow think there are probably fewer Chelsea fans now than started the season as Chelsea fans. There was a brief point a few weeks ago where I was kind of hoping we might see Everton and Chelsea in a relegation battle. That would have been absolutely amazing. Chiefs, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. We're getting a little bit closer to that 20 now. And all. I've missed I keep doing. I need to start pausing. I used to pause and almost feel like I was cheating. And we've gone and scored a goal, so I'm just going to cancel so we can at least see the replay of that. No? Okay. We'll go back and see the replay then. There we go. So, was it Robertson? Sorensen, goal. Okay, great. Goal from a corner. All good. All gone to Arsenal. Well, sure as hell won't have gone to Spurs. I don't think even Spurs fans want to support Spurs anymore. It must be. I mean, it must be so hard for them. Right, we need to get some time for Samwars. I'm going to save the last sub until close to the end. No. Yeah, absolutely no one can call a Spurs fan a glory hunter, can they? There was a point during so I don't know if you know much about the plight of Gillingham this season, but after the halfway stage, after 23 games, we had 14 points and 6 goals in the league. We had the worst start to a season imaginable. We were rock bottom of League Two, 6 points away from safety. It was looking all over. It was looking absolutely all over. Like, that was it. Our club was going down the toilet into the National League and probably tumbling from there. But we've had a bit of a turnaround. But at that point, even my son said to me, because he's been season ticket holder with me all season, turned to me and said, "Dad, next week, can we go and watch a Tottenham game instead?" And bearing in mind, this was the worst run of form we've ever had. We hadn't won in like 6-7 games. It was just miserable. So I said, it will probably be worse at Spurs, mate. The good news is we've had one of the best second halves of the season. Like I say, we got taken over by an American with a little bit of money, League Two level money, but enough that we could actually bring in. I think we brought in 10 players, combination of loans and frees, and a couple of actual transfer fees, which we've not done in years. And we ended up in 2023 with the second highest number of points in League Two. So we went from bottom of the league form to promotion form. So it's been very much a season of two halves for us. My son said to me, "If we're going to the National League, Dad, I don't want to watch this." He was a season ticket holder with me last season when we got relegated from League One, and I think a relegation from League Two as well probably would have been too much for him. And I don't blame him. At 10 and 11, you want to see good football. You want to see your team win. So, yeah, I don't think I could have blamed him if he decided he didn't want to support us anymore, but thankfully we turned it around. Yeah, oh, I mean, Bury, that felt close to home, simply because we knew that we weren't in a great position either financially, in a footballing sense, and when you're in League Two, you kind of always have one eye on what's the financial situation. We were at a point at the start of this season where we didn't have any shirts on sale because we hadn't got them off the supplier, and there were rumours of financial reasons for that. We had no kiosks open. You couldn't get hot food anywhere in the stadium because they didn't have enough staff to cook a burger or cook some chips. Half the time they were running with like one kiosk for drinks, and it was just a 20-minute queue at half time if you wanted to go and get yourself a pint or just get a bottle of Coke or something. It was starting to feel how I imagine Bury fans were feeling in the run up to their club going under. Just everything stopped. It's why when we've got the likes of Wrexham, for example, who, okay, they've got stupid money for the National League, and it's all a bit of a circus down there. But Wrexham fans have been through a lot with their club, so why not let them have a little bit of enjoyment? I'm sure I'll change my tune next season when we're playing Wrexham in League Two. No, so Southampton was one I heard an awful lot about back in sort of February, and I think at some point in March, if they didn't pay up, they were being given a winding up order, weren't they? And then it all kind of went quiet, and my Twitter feed on Southend went deadly silent, which I took to be a good thing actually, because it would have been very, very noisy indeed if Southend had gone under. But you've got, I think, Scunthorpe as well, got relegated last season from League Two. I think they're down. Did they get relegated again in National League North for next season? But yeah, they've had protests against their owners. It's awful. I mean, most teams can point to bad owners somewhere along the line, and it feels like in recent years there have been a lot of them. And some of it will be things like COVID and the lost revenue from having empty stadiums and things like that. But I don't think that's all of it. You do get a lot of owners who they're careless, I think, with the money. You look at Derby, they effectively cheated. They spent more money than they had, and almost got success. But because they didn't, they've collapsed almost as a football team. And I think you do see some owners who don't know how to run a football business. Some of them who are reckless and just want to throw money at the club and hope that that means there will be success along the way. But yeah, I mean, Southend doesn't sound good at all. And I think Wigan as well aren't. They failed to pay their players a number of times over the last few months. So that's always a worrying situation. Okay, we are back in Champions League action tonight. We have Galatasaray. This is one that I targeted as a win at the start of the night. So let's see if I can pull that one out of the bag. Let's go Shackleton, I think. Okay, I'm going to go first 11, pretty much first 11 there. And then the bench is whoever I can register. You're just not fit enough even to sit on the bench, are you? Yeah, absolutely. And you find it with a lot of the smaller clubs in smaller towns. It's huge that their football club is absolutely massive for the people of that town. But yeah, there's not a club in there's a club in the world who I'd say I'd like to see them go under. Tongue in cheek, I might say MK Dons, franchise FC, but I'm sure they actually do have a handful of actual fans by now. It's a business more than it is a game. It's not just about glory on the pitch anymore. It's about money. When you look at Newcastle and the reaction from the fans there to being bought by the Saudis, they probably cheered more. They celebrated more about that sale, that purchase, than perhaps they would about a trophy. And it's because they know that's their club effectively guaranteed success in the next few years. It's just a sad way for football to be. But then, at the lower end of things, at the League Two side of things, it's you get a dodgy owner, and say a dodgy owner, a bad owner, someone who doesn't know how to run a football club, and that can mean the disappearance of a club entirely. And the good news for Bury is I say good news. Some comfort, hopefully, is that the sort of Phoenix club that's risen from Bury is actually getting promoted. They're sort of going up the leagues. So hopeful we'll see a return of Bury sooner rather than later. But for me, I think one of the most egregious insults to football was MK Dons. The club being stolen effectively by Milton Keynes. And we are absolutely smashing Galatasaray in this one. Lorenzo Colombo has a hat-trick in 15 minutes. Remember that name. This man is winning us the Champions League. I'm not worried about Liverpool, Man United now. I think we're going to beat them. We're going to top the group stage. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a bit of a soft spot for Wimbledon simply because of the way they came from nothing. They rebuilt on the carcass of the team that was taken away from them. What is the goalkeeper doing there? Oh my goodness. That's just incredible. We've had an incredible start to our Champions League campaign so far. And then the goalkeeper's just fallen asleep or something. No. Franchise FC will. It'll be. I reckon it'll be at least a generation. People are going to have to forget what happened to give birth to MK Dons in the first place. And I don't think that's going to be done easily. And not that I suspect it would happen for any reason at all, especially seeing as Gillingham are the only football league team in Kent. But should our new American owner turn unscrupulous and think, I could make more money with this club if I move them to northwest London, we now know that the EFL will do absolutely nothing to stop that being a possibility. They might put a few roadblocks in place, but as long as enough money greases enough wheels, I could potentially lose my club. It happened to me with Rugby Union and Wasps. The London club moved to Coventry. Why, Wimbledon, London club got moved to Milton Keynes. Well, why not a Kent club to London? London's probably a terrible place to move because it's oversaturated with football teams, but it's now something that's at the back of your mind. Yeah, the FA just waved that through, and it was disgusting to me. It was disgusting to me then, and it is now. I think a lot of football fans are still quite bitter about the existence of MK Dons. Bitter might not be the right word, but I certainly am. Okay. A couple of changes to freshen up some legs. Oh, Diamande, you're getting injuries all over the place here. Alright, let's get Ryan Yates on. Shackleton can do that Mazzala role for a little bit. Then we'll save the last two for sort of 80 odd minutes. Yeah, I think there's. I'll be honest with you. There's a League Two fan response in me, which is, I can't believe that Man United fans are complaining about having so much money and having billions and billions spent on hundreds of millions being spent on players. Oh, poor you! But I think the rational that's just a I wish my team had lots of money like that kind of scenario. But I do feel sorry for Premier League fans in general, and specifically for Man United fans, because there is nothing worse, I don't think, than your team or your club not caring about you. And that's the truth of it. They just don't care. You are, for them, a cash cow. You will pay your couple of thousand. You will turn up to games because you love that club. And they exploit it. They're not rewarding it. They're exploiting it. And they will continue to exploit it, and more often than not, for their own gain. Say more often than not. That's the whole point. It's for their own gain. It's so they make money. One F2I, yeah. Yeah, it's true. And I think it's absolutely true. Their owners don't care about United or the fans. And the truth is, you could probably say that about most Premier League teams. And it's a sad way to go because the fans still are so attached to their clubs. So attached. It's really only at the lower levels that you get to have that, almost have that feeling that it goes both ways. And we've got a chairman who interacts with people on Twitter, comes into the club bar after games, will have, sit and have a chat with people, and that's lovely. I mean, it's a bit of a novelty. He's only owned the club for 4 or 5 months now, but I don't think you'd ever see that at the Premier League clubs. The Super League concept, yeah. Oh God, yeah. No, I know what you mean. So I know sort of a lot of United fans are very anti-Glazers because they just steal money from you effectively from your club. But yeah, I mean, this whole Super League thing was. I mean, part of me wants to say I can't believe they thought that up, but of course I can believe it. It was a way to make even more money for a small group of people, which is what football Premier League club ownership is all about now. But yeah, it was inspiring though to see the fans push back against that, and not just a few, banners at a match. They were full on protests, and I think if anyone could ever doubt the passion of football fans across this country, they just need to look at that to see that football fans who pay their hard-earned money week in week out to go and watch their football team play football, they genuinely love their clubs. Yeah, yeah. Football can be toxic. I think last year people went a bit mad. And I think some of it's COVID. Some of it is down to COVID, people coming out of COVID, and we'd all gone just a little bit stir crazy. When you saw like all of the pitch invasions and the was it a Forest fan who attacked a Sheffield United player, or was it a Sheffield United player who attacked a Sheffield United fan who attacked a Forest player? I can't remember which way around it was now. But that for me was just symptomatic of people just going a bit crazy. I do hope all of that calms down. From what I've seen so far, you haven't had anywhere near as many of those stupid moments this time around. Yeah. I'd almost forgotten about that. That silly kid who decided to kick Aaron Ramsdale. Yeah, Germany. They have. Do they have? Is it mandatory that fans own 50% of the club plus one vote or whatever, one share? Because I know, Bayern, the example I'm thinking of, but I didn't know if it was mandatory across the entire league or what. You went to the protest at Old Trafford. That's brilliant. So except for Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen, I wonder why they've got a different arrangement there. Is that just because of historic reasons, or is that even Germany seeing money being siphoned away into certain people's pockets? Oh, okay. So previously owned by companies, and so rather than force a mandatory purchase or something, they let it stand. Yeah, so standing sections is something we're used to down in League Two. I was at the Salford game on Monday for Gillingham away, and we were in the terraces, and it was all perfectly normal. I don't see any reason why they couldn't reintroduce that at higher levels of the game. I can't speak specifically about the Premier League atmosphere because I'm not there week in week out, but I can imagine it happening. I can believe it being true because football fans, especially at Premier League clubs, but not exclusively Premier League clubs, they get fleeced. Whether it's, £10 for a burger or £6 for a pint or, £50 for a ticket, £75 for a ticket, £100 for a ticket, you get fleeced. I mean, Chiefs, I dread to think how much money you pay for your season ticket, but I'm sure it's way above the odds. I think Spurs have the most expensive season ticket, don't they, in the Premier League in England? But yeah, Premier League fans, you just get fleeced, and it's all in the name of making money for the owners, and they don't care about it because their money's coming from Sky Sports now and BT Sport and places like that and Amazon. So they're more interested in what makes TV happy than what makes fans happy. Yeah. See, I can't say too much about the tourist side of things because there aren't many people coming to Gillingham to come down to Priestfield. You don't get too many tourists. The only tourists we get are expat fans who are now living in Canada or Australia. I know that we had someone come back from Sydney for a game a couple of months ago, which that's impressive effort, that is. But yeah, it is, exactly. These tickets aren't now something for fans; they are commodities to be sold to whoever will buy one. I know that if you want to go and watch a Barcelona game, for example, it's probably easier to buy one from here than it would be in Spain because they do whole tourist packages. They do whole football packages for you to go over, fly over, watch a game, stay in a hotel, and I'm sure they must do it the other way round. Not necessarily from Spain to here, but from other countries where they've got money to spend and not much in the way of football. Sometimes though, that that comes with success, doesn't it? I think that's true of most clubs. Most clubs in England. The more successful the club, the happier the fans are to join in with the chants, with the songs. It's something that I think a lot of European teams, their fans do it better than we do. The the atmosphere at some of those European matches looks incredible. It really does. It would be like something I'd love to experience, but at the same time, if I were to do that, I feel like I'd be taking a ticket away from a real fan. Barcelona selling Camp Nou grass at their stadium. Wow. Whereas if I wanted Priestfield grass, I'd just go and ask the groundsman. I'm sure he'd hand some over. Right, let's do that. We've got more games, another midweek game? No, let's go for a strong squad then. So I don't know if you fellas follow Lelujo on Twitch or on YouTube, but he's another sort of very good football manager, content creator, great YouTube videos, far better at Twitch than I'll ever be. But one of his things for this season is to a match day vlog from every team that he has managed in Football Manager this season. And he went to a game in Switzerland. It was Young Boys versus Servette, I think it was. And the atmosphere there, the Young Boys fans, they were the away team. They did not stop singing. There were maybe 1,000, 1,500 of them, and they were so loud you could hear it coming through the video the whole time. But even, I think he went to a Juventus versus Sporting game as well, and again, Sporting fans, whole match, just noise the whole time, just incredible. And I suppose, yeah, Barca just need to make money whatever way they can. And I don't think Barca will be allowed to fail, to collapse in the same way Bury would be, or Southend would be, or Scunthorpe would be, because they're just too big to fail. But to let that club get into that situation where they have that level of debt, it just goes to show financial fair play means nothing. And the fact that Man City can get away with pretty much whatever they want just because they know that they can tie UEFA or FIFA or the FA up in the courts for years and years before any watered down punishment finally arrives, it just shows that financial fair play was barely worth the paper it was written on. I think sometimes, though, with the Copenhagen fans at the Etihad, when you're the small away team, the pressure's off. As a fan, you just have a great time. Gillingham, we beat Brentford away in the Carabao Cup earlier in the season, back in November, and there were 2,000 of us. Bearing in mind, at home we were getting about 4 to 4,500 tops. So for a lot of fans, it was just a big day out. But they just we didn't stop. That includes me and my 11-year-old son. We just did not stop. And it was so nice to see, and it was so nice to be part of. And like looking on Twitter afterwards, you see lots of comments from Brentford fans going, "Yeah, fair play, better atmosphere, better support than from whatever, name a Premier League club." Because we were the little team, we were the underdogs, we were just there for a good time. We were going to see our team playing against a big team. So I think sometimes it is easier as a fan when you're either really successful or just a massive underdog. Yeah, exactly. So many charges of improper finances, and what's happened? Absolutely nothing. I'm sure I saw something that said it'll be 4 years before any kind of punishment gets handed down. And what kind of disincentive is that? And it'll be a fine. It'll be a fine. You're going to have to pay, I don't know, £10 million, and that's just the cost of doing business, isn't it? Copenhagen are bigger than City. I did say it was also the successful clubs. Well, this is it. 4 years' time, Pep could have won the Champions League, quit, retire, knowing full well that the whole house of cards is going to come crashing down around him. But he's got his Champions League. It doesn't matter. And what are they going to do? Okay, they take the titles off them. Who's celebrating that? Who's celebrating that? Okay, Liverpool, Man United, a few teams get retrospectively a few titles that were stolen off them because of financial cheating, financial doping. And what are Man City fans going to say? Oh, well, we actually won them, but UEFA's corrupt, FA's corrupt, and it's all so unfair on us. And it will actually achieve nothing at all. It needs to be pretty much immediate. We're dominating this, but we've not created quite as many chances as I would have liked by this point. Exactly. Could you imagine the open top bus for the 2013 Premier League? I mean, who's going to that? Yeah, Pep is on for a treble this season. I don't see, I still don't see Man City winning the Champions League. Really don't. And Pep's obviously got pedigree for it, but maybe City fans they can see it one more time. I know, like we saw some fairly extreme sounding punishments being bandied around about Man City and what should happen with these 100 charges, but I do think they need to make an example of them. Pop them down in the National League South. That would certainly send a message. I'm not going to say it would absolutely be successful, but it would send a message, wouldn't it? Because the next club will be Newcastle, and I think fair play to Eddie Howe. He's not spent hundreds of millions and so bought a superstar team. Not a huge difference from the squad he started with. So I'd actually quite rate Eddie Howe. But at some point, they're going to start spending that money, and they're going to be getting players well beyond the level that they would have done before, and it will just be because money's been poured into the club. And you can't tell me there are not going to be any clever little accounting tricks that suddenly boosts their revenue or boost their income from sponsorship, a la Man City and the whole Etihad nonsense. So it'll be another club, and once someone else realises that's absolutely fine and there'll be no punishment for it, the next club will come and do it, and then, well, I mean, where do we stand then? I suppose where we stand then is League Two football becomes the only real football still left in England. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, non-league as well. But I get what you're saying. It almost diminishes the achievement of winning the treble because, well, if you just can pay to do it, well, what's so special about it anymore? And of course, what that United team of '99 did was just '99 2000, wasn't it? Yeah, just I mean, unbelievable. That was a huge moment for English football because we needed someone like that team to go and be dominant. And I think it helped to spark the one of my favourite ever rivalries in Premier League history, which was that sort of Arsenal Man United rivalry of the sort of early 2000s. And I do remember watching that. I was 15 at the time, I think, 14, 15, maybe even touching on to 16. But I remember watching that game and just I wasn't even a Man United fan, but goosebumps from the end of that match, the end of that Champions League final, just unbelievable. Yeah, it'll be Man City, and then it'll be Newcastle, and then suddenly everyone does the treble. You just have to spend enough to be able to do it, and then where's the fun in that? It stops being about who has the better club, who has the better culture, who develops their players the best. It's just who has the most money, who has the biggest bank balance, and that's not really football, is it? Thankfully, it wasn't Liverpool who won the treble. It was us. Yeah, I've got to be honest, I'm fairly neutral on that issue. My beef is with Man City, and like I say, I'm still bitter about Wembley '99. But yeah, at least even if it was Liverpool, and I'm probably the only one of the three of us having this thought, but even if it was Liverpool, at least they would have done it naturally. You know, the growth as a club was natural. It came through success. It came through time and history. Man City don't have that. The only good thing about what Chelsea did in January is they've shown that cheats don't always prosper. Because look at the absolute state of that club. Yeah, but again, it's clever accounting tricks, clever financial misdirection. Oh, we can get away with spending more than we have because we'll just say this is an 8-year deal. I mean, that's just nonsense, isn't it? Oh, and it looks like as well as a nice 3-0 lead here, we're going to have a one-man lead as well. We're doing quite well with this Rangers team. I see what you're saying. Yeah, Chelsea they've got some very, very good players indeed. Don't have a striker, and I think I think I blame their owner. They've basically. It's almost like they're playing Football Manager, Todd Bowley, and he's given himself hundreds of millions to spend, but actually doesn't know the first thing about football. So they've ended up bringing in a completely incohesive unit. A decent manager possibly does get something out of Chelsea. Quite possibly does get something out of Chelsea. But for this season, I'm going to just enjoy watching them capitulate, just watch them fall apart. Verve from Wigan. Yeah, I think I knew. I think I knew that. Verve was a band that I listened to quite a lot when I was a teenager. Verve, Oasis, Blur, and I didn't pick a side in the Oasis Blur wars. I was neutral, and I know there aren't many of us who would admit to that because you had to pick a side, but I was happy either way. Oh yeah, love a bit of Stone Roses. I think if I had to choose a favourite band, for me it would be Linkin Park. And my favourite album actually is Collision Course with Linkin Park and Jay Z. Of many good memories working late shifts in WH Smith to move stores around, and just having that blasting over speakers. It looks like we are at an international break. Huzzah! And then we'll come back for Dundee United. This is where 3 players get injured and my squad gets even smaller. The big problem we've had actually with this Rangers squad is European registration. I've got just a handful of players who are homegrown. I mean, these 5 are homegrown at club, but they'll never really be good enough to be in the first team. And then Robertson and Munro trained in Nation. I had to bring them in the summer just to try and boost numbers. Otherwise, I was having an 18-man Europa Champions League squad. Just shock him. Oh, it's absolutely Manc bias. I'm sure there's meant to be something that says we're meant to be divided about Oasis versus Blur based on your geography, but I think Oasis were incredible. And yeah, I think if I had to choose between them, I'd say I preferred Oasis, but I did like quite a few Blur songs. Um, but yeah, I was never one or the other. Okay, so Thierry Small now no longer unhappy that he got kicked out of the Champions League squad, so I can make room for better players. He's probably going to be unhappy when I still don't put him in January. Noel and Liam had major falling out, didn't they? I mean, major. I know they split and went their own way musically, but I think there's a real personal grudge there. I can't say I know the background behind it, but I know the two of them are pretty much at each other's throats. I always wondered if, in the past whether it's just performative, something to boost publicity. 2010. It's a long time not to see your brother. I barely go more than a week without seeing my brother. And that's usually not by choice. Can't get rid of him. And Cozy Dubry now happy to stay at Rangers. Similar problem for him. He wasn't in the Champions League squad. He won't be in the Champions League squad in January. He'll probably get unhappy again. So might have to move them on potentially. I think I need to get some youngsters in. Got a feeling I might be sticking around with Rangers for a few more seasons yet. So hopefully a bit more Champions League money means I can bring in a couple of decent wonder kids at 18 and start to build a bit of a squad. And interesting, I think 2010 is about when I stopped knowing anything about music as well. Well, probably well before that actually, but I found my groove with music. I like 90s dance tracks. I like 90s and 2000s indie, and there's not much to it beyond that. Although, having said that, I'll quite happily listen to Radio One, and I don't feel like I don't sit there like my dad used to be, going, "Oh, it's all rubbish. It all sounds the same." But perhaps I'm just not old enough for that yet. My oldest son is only 11, so we're not quite in the slammed bedroom door and music blasting till all hours of the night stage yet. I'm sure that will come. Okay, are up next against our old club Dundee United, and it's always a nice time to visit them because we are in absolutely imperious form. Still haven't lost this season. That's not a bad looking fixture list at all, is it? Just the 2 draws in games we probably should have won, to be fair. But I've struggled to complain. We'll see how it goes. If we are just 1 point behind Celtic, and hopefully we'll have plenty of chances to overhaul them. But if I don't and I end up losing by 1 or 2 points, I'm going to be very unhappy with how some of those games have gone. How are the European games going on? Well, West Ham came back from behind to win. Basel beat Fiorentina 2-1. Roma beat Bayer Leverkusen 1-0 and Juventus Sevilla 1-0. So there's no one guaranteed into the final yet, is there? That's interesting. So Mads Bech Sorensen, one of our better centre-backs, but not indispensable, I don't think. We've got adequate replacements in Mikkel Mikkelsen, wherever he is. Here, where's Mads Bech Sorensen? There we go, on the bench there. Do I have any gems I found on this save? Not really. So I started unemployed and no coaching badges or anything like that. So I ended up in Sweden, managing in the 2nd division there. Worked our way up to top division through 2 different clubs, and then hopped over to Dundee and Rangers. So I've not really found anything amazing so far. I'm kind of hoping that Rangers will be the one where I start to find wonder kids and start to build a bit of a dynasty. But in truth, I want a big club in Spain or Italy, Germany. I'm not going to do England if I can avoid it, unless I get a big team. I'm probably going to try to stay away from England. I have now got my scouts all over the world, so hopefully they will find me some Argentine wonder kids who will just absolutely dominate. Yeah, you feel free to show me whatever you found. Always interesting to see other people's football manager experiences. I'm not going to sit here and claim to be a god at this game or anything like that. I have been playing it for about 25 years. Now, I think I've got a chat setting turned off or on that's preventing you from sending it. Give me 2 seconds. I tell you, I think you should be able to DM it to me or whisper it to me, and I'll post it. That might be easier. Right. Guaranteed 10.5. Let's see if we can get them up to guaranteed. Let's try. Let's go top end of that, 16.5. Let's see if they buy it. Okay, we're getting closer to something I might potentially go for. That's 12 guaranteed. Unfortunately, it's well outside of my immediate. That's the problem. There's the big problem. If this was in January, I'd probably snap their hands off of that, but I can't replace him, so I'm going to have to say no for the time being. Fantastic, thank you. I will grab that, and if you're happy, I'll copy that into the chat. There we go. Let's see what you've got here then. So this is a skin I've seen a couple of times, I think. Is this the SAS one, I think it's called? I like it. I do like it. And that boy's got everything. Absolutely everything. My goodness. So I could only dream of a player like that. Wow. Well, 10 goals from 19 games. Not bad at all for central midfield. The assists, 5 assists, so 15 goal contributions in 19 starts. You've got a player on your hand there. Okay, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. So I just play the base, the vanilla version, vanilla skin, because I'm boring apparently. Ashwin, welcome back. Are you still streaming? I've got it open still, I promise. Oh yeah, I see you're still going. So is that game as good as I've been hearing? I've seen like 10 out of 10 ratings almost across the board. I might have to convince my wife to buy it for her Switch just so I can play it. Not that I ever will. I keep saying this, but I've still played maybe 2 sessions of Valhalla. I'm not finding the time. Yeah, with a player like that, you just keep offering him money. And if you're in the Bundesliga, who are you playing as? I've closed that down now. So who are you playing as? Oh, Bayern Munich. So yeah, pretty much stolen by Man City territory there. I think if you don't give him a new contract. $300 million. Did I imagine that at some point Lionel Messi had did he have like £1 billion release clause or €1 billion release clause at Barcelona? I think in Spain you have to have a release clause in every contract. So I quite like the idea of playing as Bayern. I think I'd want to pair that up as well with maybe with National League with Germany and see if I can just build a whole dynasty. Can you play a game? Yeah, you'll be fine. We've got Copenhagen on the 24th. Let's see if they outsing the Rangers fans as they do Man City fans. Good news for me is that most of my better players are not internationals, so I don't have to worry about losing them during international games. 5-star in every position. That's going to be quite some ask, isn't it? Because if you've got a 5-star player, it's generally because they're better than everybody else. And you're going to have to, I reckon you'll have to go some to get 5-star players in every single position. If you manage to find 5-star potential players at least so far. Yeah, I've got your stream open just to get your viewer figures up, but I'm not listening if I'm honest with you. I've got it on mute. I can't do too many things at once. But it does look good. Right, the new shrines. What are the shrines? Are they like puzzle things? Because I only played a bit of Breath of the Wild on my wife's Switch. And the timing of trying to get all of those players to 5 stars at the same time, that's you'll have to keep me posted on how you do there. Tons of 5-star potential players in Sweden. Quite easy to do that though. Right, let's pick this team. Let's get Chaby, Sorensen. Soren, you can play more attacking positions as well. And Tyrese Campbell is back, so maybe I don't need you on the bench for this one. Yep, that's a versatile bench that'll cover us in every position. And hopefully Yilmaz can start to find a bit of form. Oh, looks like you're trying to sneak past some kind of troll there, Ashwin. Right, let's see how we can get on against Dundee United. Dundee United is an important word to add there. Is it as easy as sneaking in Skyrim? As long as you had the right items, you could sneak past anyone right in front of their face. Surely he was offside, and that Aguilar, I might need to buy him. Oh, that's just horrific defending from us. Utterly horrific. I'm going to struggle to believe that wasn't offside. I'm not convinced by that one. Well, that's not how we wanted to see this reunion start. Come on, boys, let's do a football. Well, that was a quick reply. So basically, the way I see it, that first minute and a half, complete waste of time. Yeah, we're back to square one. So 1F2I, how far into the future are you in your Bayern Munich save? Oh, should have been a second there. 2031. Have you been at Bayern the whole time, or is this have you jumped about a bit? I do quite like starting unemployed or doing like journeyman saves, that kind of thing. You get a bit of variety. Quite like that first bit of time at a new club where you're trying to suss out what works for that club, what doesn't, what tactic you want, what you can potentially build that team into. That's always quite fun. But I also do like dragging a team up from nothing as well. But they take real investment and time. Don't know why I'm looking to make a sub in the first half. That would be quite gross. Oh, well, we've hit the bar. Can we go in at half time a goal up? Apparently not. So it seems like so far, we're saving all of our best performances for the big games. And I mean, no disrespect to Dundee United, but this is one we absolutely should be winning relatively comfortably. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, Journeyman Save does, because you've got so many leagues loaded, and I think I've got 9 or 10 at the moment. It does take up a bit of resource on your PC. But I do think, like, even if you want to stick to England, you can have an entire career just in England, starting in National League North or South and moving up from there. That can be quite rewarding. But yeah, I like that idea of starting as an under-18 manager and make it proper career development for your character, for your player. I remember doing an online save with a friend of mine, and this was probably FM16, FM17. He took Arsenal, I took Tottenham, and it was really just I only picked Tottenham to wind him up. But it was, yeah, battle it out, try and get as many titles as you possibly can. But I ended up as England manager as well, and I appointed him as my under-21s manager, which was quite interesting, being able to do that. So I do wonder if at some stage they may introduce that um, for like single player modes. But I guess the problem is a huge part of the game is developing your own tactics, developing your squad, and doing transfers and whatnot. I suppose that kind of gets taken out a bit if you're a just under 18s manager. Right, let's make some changes. Sarmiento's tired, so he's going to have to come off. We are also going to bring off Diamande, who's not had the greatest of matches, and let's bring on Andy Robertson in the hope that his set pieces, if nothing else, will. Did I not bring him on there? Right, let's try that again. So, Sarmiento off for. I've got Kovacevic and Sarmiento on the wrong side. Right, Sarmiento off for Isaacson. Diamande off for Chaby, and Yilmaz off for Robertson. There we go. And we are going to go attacking for this last 20 minutes. And we're going to encourage the boys. Yeah, I've kind of wanted a player manager mode. I like the idea of a player manager mode, but to make it work, you'd want your player to be around a while, so you want them to be young. And it would feel quite unrealistic to have, say, a 16 or 18-year-old player also be the manager. So that's quite a tough one. I suppose you could, to some extent, do it yourself, couldn't you? Create a player in the editor, give them your name, and then kind of try to hold on to them, or maybe even follow them club to club. There's probably something in that you could try to do. Let's get Tyrese Campbell on for a little run out there. Go back to positive, and we're going to go really boring and time wasty and slowing pace down kind of football because we need to win this one. We've had a couple of draws. Oh, yeah, thank you. Button on my headset that I'd managed to press. Yeah, no, I was just saying it would be quite cool to see like real names that you know from the youth squad eventually find their way into the game. But they've obviously got to be quite careful, haven't they, with having kids' details in the FM database. But yeah, it would be pretty cool to see those like real names come through in 5, 10 years. My wife, wife's friends, yeah, someone she went to school with years ago. Her son is in the Gillingham under 14s team, I think it is, and won like Player of the Year. And it'd be great to one day see him. And we've got like a close friend whose 8-year-old son is a big footballer, loves playing, and he's had tryouts for Gillingham as well. And again, it'd be brilliant to see his name pop up in the game one day. But I think we're just going to have to wait until they're older before we'll ever see that. We'll just have That's how they'll suck us in. That's how they'll keep us buying future versions. Okay, FC Copenhagen up next. Now we are going to be streaming until about 11 o'clock, and I think we can get through the next 3 games in that time fairly easily. So hopefully we will see us beat Copenhagen and really get ourselves much further up this table than I ever expected us to be. And then get into the semi-final of the League Cup. My board expect me to win both the Scottish Cup and the Scottish League Cup, so no pressure there. But I am hoping that it's not going to be. Well, I wouldn't expect me to be sacked for not winning a cup competition as long as going in the Champions League, which I think we have so far, and to put some actual pressure on Celtic. Get nowhere with that guy. So in your buy and save, is there an end goal? Is there something you're trying to achieve? Obviously, you said you're trying to do the like 5 stars in every position. But what about in terms of trophies? You're trying to win everything in one season, including the Club World Cup, if you count that. I know most people don't. I've never been in it. Actually, that's not true. I think in a previous save I was in it, but certainly not in FM22 or 23. Much older games I've been in the Club World Cup. I don't think I've played it with the new like 3 teams in a group format. Right, we'll go Piatkowski and Sorensen for this one. Yeah, we'll go first team, I think. 3 Peter treble. Now that's something. How far have you got so far? How many trebles in a row have you got? Yates is in much better form now. That's good. Get these 2 on the correct side this time. There we go. I might be able to fill my bench. No, I won't. No, I won't. Yes, I will. It means 2 goalkeepers, but I can fill my bench. That's the first time in the Champions League this season. Exciting times. Got 2. Man, that's frustrating. She's got to start from the beginning. That feels like that should be quite realistic. I think league competitions, the best team in general will win out over the course of the season. When it comes to anything with knockouts, there's a big element of luck, isn't there? Not entirely. Obviously, quality does show through, but there is always an element of luck. Oh, now Colombo, if you're still on side, that's great, but I suspect you are in an offside position there. I think I might 3 for 3 out of linesman's decisions here. I'm doing quite well. Yeah, comfortably offside. That's always one of my favourite things about Football Manager is developing youth players and bringing them through into the first team. Something that I've considered doing but have never really like properly done is a proper homegrown talent save, where any player I buy or play has to have been at the club since the age of 18 or younger. So only buying 18-year-olds or younger, only playing players who have or will become homegrown at the club, and do proper youth save. But okay, it's one of those challenges that feels like a lot of effort, really rewarding when you pull it off, but that's a big time investment, and my head gets turned because suddenly I want to go and play in European competition rather than trying to get a youth team to get me promoted to the Premier League or something like that. But now I'm streaming, I might have a little bit more patience for it. Right, let's. Lewis Payne needs to come off. He's not looking great. He's had a good game. Oh no, Copenhagen have scored while I'm sitting and doing this. Let's watch the highlight before. Let's watch the replay rather before we make our tactical changes. How have we given this away? It's been a fairly even game so far. That's a very good finish, but I'm blaming Smicer again for that. Okay, Lewis Payne is injured. He definitely needs to come off. Kovacevic has not really done much. So let's get Isaacson on in his place. Piatkowski was somewhat at fault for that goal as well. So make 3 changes and hope that we can come out with something a bit better. I say it's been even. I mean, look at that. That's anything but even. It's like I don't know what I'm talking about. Right, we're going to go attacking. We're going to berate the team. Let's see if we can get that ball forward. Come on, Colombo. That's definitely legit. That's a goal. Yeah, you're going to be up until the birds sing again, Ashwin. If I have to tweet you at 2 AM again, I'll be sorely disappointed. Have you got work tomorrow? Let's get Tyrese Campbell on. And we'll change Yates over for Raskin and bring Shackleton forward a bit. 4 hours. Well, that's not too bad. You can do that on fairly minimal sleep, but just think of the people you have to deal with. Ah, well. We've been a little bit fucked by FM there. 32 shots, 12 on target, 3.6 XG, 1 goal. Copenhagen, 0.51 XG, 1 goal. Well, it had to happen at some point. We're still ahead of where I expected us to be. 7 points rather than 6. And in truth, I was expecting to get 7 points total from the group stage. So we've pretty much hit my target already. Now it's just seeing if we can eke out a few points in some very, very difficult games in the rest of the Champions League. Liverpool at home being the next one, then Wolfsburg away, Gladbach away, Man United at home, and Paris Saint-Germain away. 2 points from that would feel like an achievement. Anything more would be a miracle. And I'm not sure yet. I've not really seen enough to know, because I've rarely played in the Champions League. I'm usually in lower leagues. I don't know what the point mark is going to be for 24th. How many points am I going to need after 8 games? Is a point a game enough? If I have 8 points, 9 points, will that be enough to see me through? Well, we've got Spurs coming up soon in your Football Manager save. Got to beat them. Mandatory. let's get a couple more games done tonight before we head off for the evening. Ashwin, are you streaming tomorrow? Yeah, no. 1F2I, thank you very much for the follow. We're 2 away. We are 2 away from that 20 follower target. Excellent, man. I'm out in the evening. I'm going to go and play darts with some friends. But if you're on before about 7, I'll definitely stop by. You're going to stream. You're going to play Zelda again. Man, I don't blame you. Honestly, it looked really, really good from what I saw on your stream, and I was genuinely looking at it thinking, I want to play this game. I don't own a Switch. Everyone else in my house owns a Switch. My wife, all 3 of my children, they all own a Switch. I'm the only one who doesn't, and now I feel like I might need to steal one and buy that game. Oh, I'm gonna be struggling to pronounce that one, but is that a Cluedo? Well, thank you very much for the follow. Ludo, Clue. So that's the double L that you see in Welsh. Come and tell me how to pronounce your name. Welcome. 1 away before we hit that 20 follower mark. I got the Welsh part correct. The pronunciation, I know I butchered. Oh, welcome. So what part of Wales are you from? Okay, so do you need to have one eye on the Hibs Cup final? We've only got 1 day between Hearts Cup quarter final, sorry, and we've only got 1 day. We've got 1 day's rest. So let's rotate the squad. Payne's injured for 11 days, so we will go. Right, Sam Wise, haven't really got much choice there. Ah, okay. So Cluthu, and it's the W. That's a bit off as well, isn't it? Because it's more of a U sound, I think. Although I suppose when I'm saying it, yeah, pronouncing the English EW, it's fairly similar. Well, anyway, welcome. Welcome to the stream. I'm Adwin84. I'm a fairly new streamer. How's your night going so far? How's your week going so far? The weekend is very, very nearby. Although I'm personally at a bit of a loss now. No football to go to in League Two. What do I do? Okay, you sounds like doubly in English in that word. That's so. What does it mean? What does it mean? I'm enjoying the Welsh lesson. Every day is a school day. Talking about rotating, I don't really have a big enough squad to rotate with. That could be a problem. We may just have to give everyone a rest and hope that they can limp through the cup quarter final. Not really the approach you want to take at that stage, but it is what it is. You're right-footed. Right, let's see if you can play yourself back into form, but we are going to rest Colombo. So let's give Tyrese Campbell a run out. Black Lion. I like it. So are you? I assume you are from Wales. Are you a Wrexham fan by any chance? And I know there are more teams than just Wrexham in Wales, but they feel like very much the Golden Children at the moment. Incredible season they've had in National League, and there's a part of me that is very jealous about the money. I look forward to seeing Wrexham back in the Football League again. Let's get, who else do we get into this squad? Short on midfield options, so Nicholson, Robertson, you can be my midfielders. Can you play as a central midfielder in any capacity? Not really. Okay. Then let's give Dean Martin a chance to sit on the bench. Oh, hold on, if I've gone too many subs, there we go, that'll do. Yeah, they are very much top of the public consciousness, a good way of putting it. You could call them limelight hogs, but I saw a tweet from Sky Sports News earlier where they said the Wrexham manager got Manager of the Year and just completely skipped over who Player of the Year was in the National League because they weren't from Wrexham, and the reactions from most of the people on there, and I know Twitter is just it's not representative of the world at large, but I just thought, wow, people really are bitter about Wrexham. Really, really are, aren't they? Ashwin, please tell me that's you winning against Spurs and not 1-0 to Spurs. So I was in South Wales back in October for Gillingham away to Newport, and it was without a doubt the single most miserable night of my life, my footballing life, I should say. Oh, Ashwin, you're a good man, bringing more people to my stream to come and listen to me talk nonsense. But yeah, so I was in for the Newport game. We lost 2-0. We showed absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it was just a really miserable night. Newport itself was fine. It was quite nice. Had a lovely curry. Not far away from, I think it was the Travelodge. But the rest of it was just completely demoralising. Thankfully, things have turned around a bit since then. You lost Saka, as in injured during the game. And you put a lower league team start. Yeah. So do you live nearby them? Is that why you sort of pick Newport as your go-to streams save start? I hope it's not a long injury. But then you've just signed Grealish. You've got the squad for it now. I'm sure your accountants did well and made it look like you only paid £1 for Grealish. Oh my goodness, I can't believe we've not scored there. Did we just drop for a moment there? Hopefully you're all still with me. Yeah, not sure what happened there. I just had my OBS say stopping stream. Glad you're all still here with me. Yeah. You don't get caught for your dodgy accounting, and that is some dodgy accounting. I've never seen anything like it. Kovacevic is having a terrible game tonight. Okay, let's get him off, and who have we got who can make a difference? Let's get Robertson on. Yilmaz really has not done it for me this season. Yeah, so I like to do something similar with. If I start in England, I tend to start in the lower leagues with either Welling United, who are the closest team to me geographically, or Dartford, who are just a little bit further away. And it just feels like a nice starting point down in the lower leagues. 2-2. How have you thrown it away, Ashwin? You're being FM'd. Right, Shackleton. Raskin's not been great either, so we'll give Mickelson a run out in midfield. And Tyrese Campbell for Colombo. I didn't want to have to use him, but we're just not scoring goals. Let's go for this last 10 minutes. Demand some more. It's away games, yeah. Away games, I don't understand why why they feel so much different. I mean, I get that there's such a thing as home advantage, and Colombo comes on and does the job straight away. This is why I love that man. And we're going to take time out of the game just to make sure we hold on to that 1-goal lead. Yeah, home advantage is very much a real thing, but there are times when it just feels like it's too much, especially in those big games. And I will forever refuse to have an away tactic. I play football the way I play football. That was definitely not a penalty. So Clethu, have you I always assume everybody knows Lelujo. He's an excellent YouTube football manager, content creator, has his own Twitch channel as well, and he does this non-league to legend save every year, where he basically follows this very similar kind of format. He will start save with the team closest to where he lives in the lowest playable league in England, and then it's basically a case of watching his career go up through through the lower leagues into Premier League, all across Europe, wherever he can get big jobs, and it's a case of win as much as possible. But that was kind of the inspiration for me doing saves similar to that, because I just find it really entertaining way to start Football Manager. So I don't know, did you get an inspiration from something like that, or is this something that you just off your own back came up with? But if I would recommend going and checking him out, because he's a very, very good content creator. Let's rest everyone for one day and hope that some of them are fit enough to play in the Cup quarter-final, which is scheduled 2 days after a league game, which is just mental. And no, we don't want to sell our goalkeeper, thank you very much. Did you get the win? I'll take it back. Away games are easy. Northern Pilgrim, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome. And you are my 20th follower, so thank you extra, because that hits our second target. For our next stream, we will have yet another one. I guess 30's got to be next, hasn't it? Thank you very much, Northern Pilgrim. And hello, hope you're having a good evening. We are probably going to play our last game, actually, here. It's nearly 11 o'clock, so that's time for me to get to bed. I need my beauty sleep before work in the morning. But we are in a cup quarter final. So hopefully we can provide a little bit of entertainment before we sign off. And everyone's tired because I don't have a squad. Right, Shackleton. Yep. Give Sorensen a rest. Yeah, okay. So we have got something going on there. Robertson, I think we rested. Good. Midfield is where it gets a little bit shaky because I had absolutely no one. JB, Diamande, you. Okay. So we're going to give Bobby McDonald a run out. Why on earth not? What's the worst that can happen? Okay, now I think everyone else we should be good to go. Kovacevic can play, so let's do it. Too many defenders on there, so let's bring you out for you. Brilliant. Yeah, I know. I don't. I should have known you were behind this. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Okay, so it's Saka, it's Football Manager, your best player by far. We're talking, what, 7 to 8 months? Oh, yeah, let's go 7 to 8 months. I think it's going to be a really gruesome injury. And that way, if it's not, you'll be happy. 3 weeks, that's nothing. Although, what games have you got in those 3 weeks? I tend to find my best players get injured just as a run of big games come up. International break. Oh, that's a score. And Bobby McDonald has scored. The young lad who's on the pitch just because didn't really have anyone else. He scored his first goal for Rangers. What a boy. And what do we think of shit? Tottenham. At Gillingham, we have our own version of that. Stolen it shamelessly from Arsenal. But it's, yeah, what do we think of Swindon? Shit. What do we think of shit? Swindon. That's great because that's a rivalry that has absolutely no basis in geography. Gillingham, Swindon. We're not nearby. It all comes down to playoff games in the 70s where Gillingham fans are absolutely convinced the referee was corrupt. To the point where a Gillingham fan went onto the pitch and decked the referee. And ever since then, they've been our rivals, but I don't think they consider us rivals. They don't really know why we care so much about them. So that's always quite funny. To have rivals, and they just don't even notice we're there. Yeah, which one? Which one did you? Yeah, yeah. It's real. Oh, that's amazing. That feels like a good opportunity. We are absolutely demolishing Hearts here. Bobby McDonald apparently is an absolute beast. $20 old. I mean, I don't really see much of a future for him. He's really only in and around the squad because he's homegrown, but he's having a game of his life here. Eee. Let's not go throwing it away now, lads. Ooh, nearly 5 there. Wow, we've got so proper stuff's going on here then. It's like I said, I'd sit here and talk nonsense, and you're here for the nonsense. Man, you just got to be yourself. It's probably your character as much as your knowledge of football. They want you because you're you. Let's get Samwise on, and Dane Murray can make a rare appearance. When you get details about it, do let me know. I'll quite happily pop along and see what's going on. I especially want to see a hell of a show. If it's on Twitch, you better believe you'll find me there in the comments. I'll be in the chat. Oh, close, but thankfully they are pretty much out of this. I see, that's just me. That's my kind-hearted nature. I did mean it in the good way. So close to a 5th. But job is done. We're in the League Cup semi-final, and that pretty much wraps up another good night for us. We'll just have a little review of the night. So we're still second in the Premiership, just a point behind Celtic, and we are 5th in the Champions League group stage, which is pretty damn good. But we have had the easier games so far, although the away win against Atletico Madrid was something quite special for us. Though, interestingly, Atletico have lost every game in the Champions League so far. So maybe I've played a very different Atletico Madrid to what I was expecting. But so far, so tonight, the night did hold for us. Massive 7-2 win against Celtic. Nothing gets better than that. The away win against Atletico, a disappointing draw against Ross County, and then number of wins in the league, Champions League against Galatasaray, and then finally in the League Cup quarter-final. So we're into the League Cup semi-final against Celtic. Next time we will have that game. We'll have also Champions League games against Liverpool and Wolfsburg to come, so that'll be quite interesting, as well as obviously some more Scottish Premiership action. So we're going to go find someone to raid. Let's see who is still around on Twitch at the moment. We'll go find someone playing Football Manager, shall we? And Ty's on, so let's go and give him a raid. You want a sexy hot tub streamer girl? Man, I'd be worried I'd get in trouble for stuff like that. Mostly from my wife. Right, so we are going to go and raid Anti. So yeah, you'll see much more there. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's go and join Anti and catch you next time.